In this video, I'm gonna cover if you can actually get free stuff or not by attending those shady timeshare meetings in popular travel destinations like Las Vegas, Branson, Myrtle Beach, Orlando. Basically, if you go to any one of these places, like I was recently at Las Vegas for 11 days, and while we were there, every single day we were walking up and down the street. We had people walk up to us and say, "Hey, you guys look like a nice couple. You guys want to go? You guys want to go to a Cirque du Soleil show for free? You guys want to do the helicopter ride for free? You guys want to ride the Link Ferris wheel for free?" They would ask like, "What hotel you staying at?" "Oh, we're at the Venetian." "Oh, if you guys are at the Venetian, we can get you guys gondola rides for free." And I was like, "Hey, can we actually get this stuff for free?" So I did a dive into timeshare presentations and the whole timeshare business. So while we were there in Las Vegas, we did 2 timeshare presentations. We did one at the Jockey Club. I believe that's with Sapphire Resorts, and we did another one at Grandview. And we wanted to see if we could actually get these gifts for free. So first thing, let's talk about how these presentations work and why they're able to give you stuff for free. So we went to Grandview. At Grandview, the sales rep that we had there, I talked to him. He said that they make $150 million a month from timeshare sales. So this organization's bringing in $150 million. They can afford to give out tens of millions of dollars of free stuff to get people in the door to these presentations. And to break stuff down even more, when you guys go to a timeshare presentation, your sales rep is gonna get paid anywhere from anywhere from 7 to 12% commission for your sales. So if you go to a timeshare presentation and you sign up for a timeshare for $10,000, your sales rep is gonna get $700 to $1,200 for you signing that timeshare deal. So that's one of the reasons why they're so forceful in those presentations, because they're like, man, just say yes so I can get paid anywhere from like $500 to $1,200 just for you signing that deal while they're there. Now, if you go to a timeshare presentation, they're probably gonna offer you a first deal around like $10,000 to $13,000. And then you're gonna be like, no, we're not interested. Then they're gonna keep on dropping the price down. They'll probably drop it down 50 to 60%, all the way down to like $4,000 or $5,000 if you just keep on saying no. And even still, 8% of $4,000 is still like $320 or whatever. So that's still a pretty good commission off of just somebody going to a meeting for 2 hours. And then the people on the street, they told me they get paid about $100 per person that they send to a timeshare meeting. So when you're on the street and you're getting harassed, those people make money off of sending you to a timeshare presentation. I found those people to be transparent. They told me, they're like, "Hey, just go to this timeshare meeting. The company's got billions of dollars. They can afford to give you free stuff." They had a whole book. They're like, "Hey, here's the free stuff that they can give you." And they'll normally give you guys about $200 or more worth of free stuff. So I talked to the first guy and on Fremont Street, and he was like, "Hey, what do you guys want to do for free to go to this timeshare meetings?" And then when you do sign up to go to a timeshare presentation, you have to put down a refundable deposit. I guess they do that to make sure that people actually show up. So we put down I think it was like a $50 deposit for the timeshare presentation. And he said that he needed us to get to this presentation so he can get his $100 commission. So he even set up a ride share for us. He got us a Lyft. Let me just talk about all the stuff that we got for this first timeshare presentation. We got a free 2-night, 3-day stay at a resort. Took us from our one hotel we were staying at. We were staying at the Strat. He got us a free Lyft ride to the Venetian hotel. So we didn't even have to worry about going from one hotel to the next hotel. He got us Madame Tussauds Wax Museum tickets for 2, gondola rides for 2, Brazilian steak dinner for 2, $200 and the gambling casino credit, which was garbage. It was completely worthless. And he also got us eating out card called like the Las Vegas Bite card. And we actually got picked up by Lyft to take us from the Strat to the Cosmopolitan, because the Jockey Club that this timeshare was meeting at was at this hotel. So we got there. They asked to see a major credit card. So basically, when they see you on the street, they're going to ask you guys a few questions to qualify you for the timeshare presentation. And to be qualified, basically all you need is to make $50,000 or $60,000 a year, and to have a major credit card, and to be over the age of 28. So we matched all of these things. We had a major credit card. If you have a major credit card, then I guess they assume that you have good credit. And if you are over the age of 28, I guess you're more likely to sign up for a deal. I don't really know what the age has to do with it. And then they want to make sure that you can afford the payments, so they're going to ask if you make $50,000 to $60,000 or more a year. So we met all the qualifications. Then we went to the timeshare presentation. And like I said, this was just to see if we can actually get those gifts for free, and if the timeshare presentation was going to actually be 90 minutes or less. Now, the guy that sold us the timeshare presentation, he did say that the Jockey Club presentation is very casual, it's relaxed. He told us the worst timeshare presentations in Las Vegas are at Grandview and at Westgate. I think he said there's one more organization that has really bad timeshare meetings. And funny enough, we did actually go to a timeshare meeting at Grandview a few days later. And yes, that one did suck, and it was super long. It was like 4 hours of my life that we will not get back. And they started late. We were on time to that timeshare presentation. Oh, and Grandview was like 10 miles from the Las Vegas Strip. So it's gonna take you like 20 minutes to get out there and 20 minutes to get back to your hotel. So consider that if you take a timeshare presentation at Grandview, you gotta get way out, down south from the Las Vegas Strip, and then get back to the Strip. So yeah, we got to this timeshare. They just asked us for you to flash your credit card, and so they got proof that you got a credit card, and they ask for your ID and your name. And then they send you to another room where you're gonna be paired up with a salesperson, and that salesperson is gonna stick with you for the entire duration of the timeshare presentation. They're gonna try to break the ice with you, ask you where you want to travel to, get to know you, build a bit of rapport and familiarity between you and the sales rep. So they brought us into a meeting room. It was probably 10 sales reps in that room, and 10 couples with each sales rep, and they brought in a very, very solid salesperson. So basically, they had one person in the front of the room that took us through an entire presentation for about an hour. And the person that they brought in was basically like a professional comedian. So he basically was in front of the room, like dancing, cracking jokes. Kind of reminded me of Dave Chappelle. He was just literally just cracking punchline joke every 30 seconds for an hour. I was like, they must be paying this comedian so much money to do these timeshare presentations. But yeah, he was really funny. It felt like we got a free comedy show while we were there, and he went over all the information. He was like, well, if you guys don't know by now, this is a timeshare presentation, and we're trying to get you guys to sign up for a timeshare. And he was like, hey, trying to get you guys to buy a timeshare. And he was just cracking joke after joke. He was like, yeah, he said with their program, you can travel anywhere in the world. He went around the room and asked everybody, like, hey, where you guys want to travel to? Some people said Italy, Australia, Jamaica. He was like, hey, we got properties in all of these places. If you guys join this timeshare organization, you guys can travel there and stay for only like $300 a week or $200 a week. He was like, hey, raise your hand in the room if you deserve to travel in luxury. So they went around the room, asked everybody where they want to go, asked everybody a bunch of questions, got the room super involved. I mean, this man was in the front of the room singing and dancing, literally flashing the lights on and off, trying to make a party atmosphere. And some of the things they did in the room to try to motivate people to sell, well, and motivate people to buy, he would be like, hey, if you guys want to travel on your own, it's going to cost you guys like $3,000 for 1 week, versus if you travel with us, it's going to cost you $300 for 1 week. And every time he would say some stuff, you would hear like a round of applause, people in the room clapping and cheering every time that he would, go over some sales tactic. But every time that he would talk about how much money you could save, but the people in the room clapping were the sales reps. So he'd be like, yeah, look on the screen, you guys can go to Italy. And you would just hear people in the room cheering and clapping, but it would be the sales reps. So it wouldn't even be the couples in the room that were cheering and clapping. And at the end of the presentation, he was like, yeah, you guys can join today for only $9,660. And he also said to get people even more on the spot to, sign the deal, he was like, the first 4 couples in this room that buy this timeshare opportunity, we will fly them to Honolulu, Hawaii for free and put you guys up in a resort for free. And I also think that they said there was no payments needed for the first 18 months. So it was like $0 down, free trip to Hawaii. Free trip to Hawaii. I was like, oh, that sounds good. I looked over at my girl. My girl was like, oh, can we do this? She was like, oh, can we sign? Can we sign up for this? I was like, yo, you're missing the fine print here. So some of the small details that people miss during this presentation is that, it's $10,000. And it's financed. And one of the things they went over during the presentation, they were like, yeah, if you're in this room, you're already pre-approved for financing. Now the financing is definitely gonna suck. So it's gonna be $10,000 financed at probably at the low end 22% interest. Plus you're gonna have annual maintenance fees of around $500. So $500 a year. Over 50 years is going to be about $25,000. If those fees increase, you're going to be on the hook for $25,000 plus $10,000 for the payment, so $35,000. Plus, it's not even including the interest on that $10,000. So probably if you sign up for a timeshare, you're going to be out of pocket at least $40,000 plus dollars. And I think a lot of these timeshares works in a way where you just get points and you can redeem a certain amount of points each year. If you really want to know if the timeshare sucks or not, when we got into that room and I looked at the wall and I saw a sign on the wall that said Sapphire Resorts, I went on Google. This is while we're at the timeshare presentation, while we were waiting for the sales rep to show up. I typed in Sapphire Resorts timeshare reviews, and they had like a 1.5 out of 5 stars. I just read through horrific reviews of people talking about they're in this horrible timeshare contract and they can't even like redeem it for a vacation. Some people are like they only can go on one trip every 3 years, even though they're paying thousands of dollars to this organization. So yeah, I would not recommend buying anything without reading reviews first. So yeah, just check out Sapphire Resorts timeshare reviews, and you will see some horrific horror stories online. So I read that, I was like, yeah, this is already just garbage, a garbage product. So yeah, so if you sign a deal, you'd be at like $40,000. I work in sales currently, so I was interested to see people try to sell to me. So I thought I would be basically unsellable. And then I also ran a business before where I did $3 million in revenue. So I'm very comfortable with telling people no and it's looking super serious when I say no. So we got to the next room. After that hour-long presentation, we went to another room where they try to crunch the numbers with you. And I guess this is the point where if you say no, they'll try to bring over a manager or whatever to try to lower the price and convince you and overcome your objections to why you don't want to sign right now. But I think I told my sales rep, I was like, hey, we're here. We don't want to finance or buy anything today. And I said that very sternly. So they didn't even try to sell us. We got to the next room and like another person walked up and was like, hey, these people, they don't want to buy. Just get them out of here. And they let us go to another desk and get our free gifts. So like I said, the free gifts that we got the gondola ride, and we wanted to go see if we can actually redeem these gifts in real life, and can we actually get our and actually get, you know, to enjoy the stuff that we went to this timeshare meeting for. So the first thing that we tried to redeem was food. So they gave us this Las Vegas Bites card, which they said it would give us half off of like all the food in Las Vegas. That was a complete lie. On this Las Vegas Bite card, there's probably like 30 or 40 restaurants on there. And some of them you only get like $5 off of like $100 dinner, or like 10% off. There were a few restaurants that gave you 50% off, but all those restaurants that said 50% off either had horrible reviews. Like I know there was like Payway Asian food, which I looked them up on Google Maps. They had 2 out of 5 stars. I'm scared to eat at any restaurant that has 2 out of 5 stars. They also had Johnny Rockets hamburger place. Johnny Rockets has to be the most expensive cheeseburger fast food restaurant on the face of the planet. They're more expensive than Five Guys, which I thought Five Guys was the most expensive fast food burger place. But Johnny Rockets in Las Vegas, they were selling cheeseburger meals for like $22 to $30. $22 to $30 just to get a cheeseburger meal with fries and a medium-sized fountain drink, which I thought was insanity. Even at half price, even buy one get one free, that's still super expensive. So yeah, that Las Vegas Bites card was pretty much useless. They also gave us $200 of casino credit, but it was only good at one casino, Casino Royale, which was dirty, dark, smelled like cigarettes. It was horrible inside of there. Definitely the worst casino that we went to, but it was right next to the Venetian, so we walked over there and we tried to win back some money. I thought we'd walk in there with our $200 of gambling credit and probably win like $100 or $150. Psych. So when you get to the casino, you can only use that gambling credit on like some pre-selected machine, and when you get there it's going to say promotional machine and cannot be redeemed for cash. So you just have $200 that you can play on this slot machine and not even win any money. So the first 2 free gifts we got were just garbage that couldn't even be used for anything realistically. And then next we went to Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. Actually, you have to go to Madame Tussauds Wax Museum to get the gondola ride. You can't just go do the gondola ride, you have to do the Wax Museum for some reason. So we went to Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. I think that was probably like $30 or $35 a person, so about $70 for free that we got to go in and walk through there. That was actually legit. We went in, we had a good time. They had the AC blasting inside of there. It was freezing. If you go to Madame Tussauds, make sure you wear like a long sleeve or maybe some pants, because it was very chilly in there. I got to go in there and look at Johnny Depp and Leonardo DiCaprio, Biggie Smalls. They got Tupac, Michael Jackson, and all the wax figures are like the actual height of the celebrity that they're modeled after. So Shaq was 7'2". You can see me here grabbing a basketball and dunking on Shaq. Not once, but twice. And that rim was definitely regulation. Actually, it felt a little bit higher than 10 feet, if I'm gonna just be transparent here. So we went in there, saw a bunch of celebrities. They got a room at the end with a bunch of old celebrities where I recognized absolutely nobody except for Louis Armstrong. And then after that, we got our gondola ride voucher. And we went and did the gondola ride a few days later on July the 4th. Yeah, that was very, very nice. We had a gondolier named Pippi, and he sang to us. With the gondola ride, you will ride it with another couple. So it'll be you and then some strangers on a nice, romantic, scenic, Italian-styled, Venice-inspired gondola ride. We opted to go for the outside ride, which was very nice. Definitely would probably be better than the inside ride for one specific reason. When your gondolier takes you under these massive bridges outside, that's when they'll do their singing, and I think our gondolier sang like 4 songs underneath the bridge. It's very easy. It like amplifies the singer's voice, so it's very romantic, and at night it was nice and cool. So that was a very, very nice experience. Okay, we also went to a Brazilian steakhouse, which was at the Miracle Mile, maybe like 0.6 or like zero point 0.7 miles down the strip from the Venetian that we stayed at. They gave us a Brazilian buffet, which I think would probably be about 30 to 35 a person. So that was also really good. So in total, Brazilian steak lunch was probably about $70 that we got for free, plus the gondola ride, which was about, I want to say $35.99 a person. So another $70. We tipped our gondolier $20 for the ride. And then we also got Madame Tussauds, which I think was around $30, so another $70. So we got about $200 of free activities that we got to do for going to this timeshare presentation. Plus we got a free 2-night stay that we can use anytime during the next 18 months. Now, about that free 2-night stay, it is not free. You're gonna be charged a $100 activation fee. They literally called me 2 days ago. I was at the gym. I'm at the gym working out, and they called me on the phone. They're like, "Hi, this is blah, blah, blah with Sapphire Resorts. How are you doing? We would like to go ahead and get you set up for your free vacation. We just need a $100 activation fee." I'm like, "Hey, I just left Las Vegas. They took all my money. Give me some time." They're like, when's a good time to call back? Should we call back on Friday? I'm like, I was like, no, call back late. Call me back in 4 months from now, much later. So yeah, that was my experience. So I guess to just wrap things up, these organizations are making $150 million a month, so they can afford to give away stuff for free. Not all of those free gifts are any good, but some of them really are. If you go to a timeshare presentation, you should be trying to get at least $200 worth of free stuff or $300 worth of free stuff if they're giving you some free Cirque du Soleil tickets plus some other things. Now, if you're on vacation, you just have to take into consideration is a 2-hour, like I said, the Jockey Club, that one was short, in and out in less than 2 hours. You have to consider, is 2 hours of your vacation time worth $200? Or if you go to Grandview or Westgate, you're gonna be there for like 4 or 5 hours. I was there for 4 hours, and we were the first people done. we were literally like the fastest people through that Grandview presentation, and it still took like 4 hours. I think the other couples there that probably did not have that like tough no face that I had on were probably there for 5 and 6 hours being held hostage by those salespeople. I'll make a whole nother video about that experience. But yeah, just is the amount of time of that presentation worth $250, because that's about how much you're gonna get in free stuff. And that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys next time.